evening. You're watching the India Development Debate, and we have a power-packed show lined up for you this Friday evening. And what a variety we have today. Let me quickly take you through what we're going to do this evening. We're going to start off by talking about this whole controversy about Piyush Goyal's comments on Jeff Bezos, what it really means. But what the real question is, are we truly welcoming for foreign investors? Then we are going to talk about something which impacts all of us. Do you know how traffic is literally eating up your life? We have an exclusive interview coming up with a former Economic Affairs Secretary S.C. Garg, where he claims the fiscal deficit is much higher than what it seems. And to round it off, excerpts from a conversation between Jeff Bezos, King Khan and Zoya Akhtar. So stay tuned. But let me begin. Commerce Minister Piyush Goyal's comments on Amazon's promise to invest $1 billion at a time when the e-commerce giant's top bosses in India has raised a furore. The minister clarified his comments today, saying they were taken out of context and all investment is welcome if it's in the framework of the law. But the real debate isn't honestly what Piyush Goyal said and what he really meant. The real question is a bigger one. Does India, despite climbing impressively in the ease of doing business rankings, actually provide a welcoming environment for global companies? A global company like Vodafone right now is possibly mulling whether it can still stay in business in India. A report today suggests that local subsidiaries of MNCs are being questioned by tax authorities on whether they are managing foreign ops from India, so that those revenues can be taxed. Caps on drug prices have seen global pharma companies crying foul. So is India truly an easy place to do business? To speak on this, I am joined today, and we give you all points of views on the debate. So we have a well-balanced debate. Ashwini Mahajan, National Co-Convener of the Swadeshi Jagran Manch. I will be speaking with R. Shriram, Resident Editor of the Economic Times, Madhavan Narayanan, Senior Journalist, and Ajay Dua, former DIPP Secretary. Welcome to all of you, and thank you for speaking with us. I'm going to start with my least controversial speaker today, Mr. Dua. Will you open up the debate for us? Do you think that India truly is a welcoming place to do business? And I've listed quite a few examples in my opening. I'm not talking only about, what Piyush Goyal said and Jeff Bezos, etc., moving beyond that.
Tamanna, I would totally agree with you that if we have to attract any more FDI in a significant, I would say, significantly more FDI than which we have been doing in the last few years, we need to have a look at the regulatory framework and other business environment in the country. But that doesn't necessarily mean that we have to compromise our own national interests only to be able to attract more foreign investment. I say this in the context that at most we've got 60 billion net inflow into the country. Whichever figures you take, none takes it beyond 60 billion. Compared to that, compare that to nearing $3 trillion economy, it makes it just barely 2% of the GDP of the country. For us, domestic investment is important. Domestic inflows of business, the domestic well-being of the business is equally important. Having given this as a preface that the two have to be balanced, I would be one with you totally that our rules for regulations for FDI have to be made more predictable. It cannot suddenly come about, say, 6 months before the last general elections, that we are changing the rules for e-commerce. In the month of December, December last year we did that, made them effective by January. But that doesn't mean that once the rules have been made, those can be violated.
No, absolutely.
If they
no,
have
let,
been,
let me, let me
as
set
is
the
being
record
alleged,
straight. It is
and as
nobody's.
now
Absolutely,
the
Mr. Dua. But let me set the
competition-
record
yes.
straight. It is nobody's contention that the rules of the country should be violated. That's not the question I'm asking. Ashwini Mahajan, let me bring you into this debate. You have lauded Piyush Goyal's comments from yesterday. Today, he cleared the air. He cleared the air, and in a bit, I will play both comments for you. So which one are you supporting now? What Mr. Goyal said yesterday or what he said today?
You see, I have seen both the statements, and there is no contradiction in that. And as far as the foreign investment is concerned, as you have been, all the introduction you have given, I fail to disagree with you, because that anything is being done to dissuade the foreign investors in the country. In fact, you understand that all investment is not good investment. Therefore, if somebody is bringing in investment and that investment is used for deep discounting, if that investment is used for collecting more and more data to capture the markets, if that money is being used to kill our employment of the small shopkeepers, if that investment is killing our small scale industry, then you cannot
Investment
put
are you
that
talking about?
investment
No, which
in the same
investment are you
category
talking about?
as we are putting the. Okay, so yeah, I'm talking about this very investment of the e-commerce giants.
Okay.
And you understand that these there is Swadeshi Jagan Manch has been fighting against the FDI in multi-brand retail, and it's a consistent fight. And it is not just Swadeshi Jagan Manch is saying. So many crores of
Mr. Mahajan,
the
sorry,
small
I'm sorry I'm
shopkeepers,
interrupting you,
they are
but
on
can I get
street.
this clear? Are you
They are on
saying?
street. Yeah,
Are you
let
saying
me-
we
let
don't
me-
want,
let me explain to
Are
you.
you saying we don't want Amazon's $1 billion in investment?
Yes, let me tell you that this Amazon's investment, as Piyush Goyal has also very categorically stated, that this investment is in a way coming to compensate. It is coming to compensate the losses which they are making, and from where the losses are coming, thousands of crores of losses. 50,000 crores of losses so far they have made. So does that mean that we allow this kind of killing investment, which kills our employment, and we say we feel proud of it that we are bringing so much of investment into the country.
Okay.
So this is no.
No, there is
no
an
proud
inquiry on right now. This is a claim
to have
so far.
such kind of investment.
Okay, well, there's an inquiry right now. This is a claim so far. Ashwini Mahajan very controversially saying that, we don't need this $1 billion investment. I just want to play out for you what the Commerce Minister said yesterday and his clarification today. Let's listen in.
Anybody who tries to use the e-commerce marketplace model to get into the multi-brand retail space surreptitiously will have to be questioned and will have to be investigated. Whether they are doing that or not is a matter for the investigators to decide. It's not my call. Secondly, they may have put in $1 billion, but then if they make a loss of $1 billion every year, then they jolly well have to finance that $1 billion. So it's not as if they're doing a great favor to India when they invest $1 billion. They are investing money over the last few years, also in warehousing and certain other activities, which is welcome, which is good. But if they are bringing in money largely to finance losses, how can a marketplace make such a big loss unless they are indulging in predatory pricing or some unfair trade practices? These are real questions which will need answers. कल के मेरे वक्तव्य में कुछ लोगों ने ये एहसास करने की कोशिश की कि जैसे कोई अमेज़न के प्रति मैंने कुछ नेगेटिव कहा। मैं समझता हूँ उसकी अगर मेरे पूरी बात की परिप्रेक्ष्य को देखें तो मेरा कहना ये है कि निवेश आए, लेकिन जो निवेश के कायदे कानून है उस कायदे कानून के अंतर्गत आए। और ये पूरी दुनिया में यही है। जो छोटे व्यापारी हैं, जो खुदरा व्यापार करते हैं, उनको एक अनफेयर कंपटीशन क्रिएट हो जाए। आखिर वो लोग खून पसीना एक करके देश के कोने कोने में अपना रोजगार करते हैं, अपना दिनचर्या उनके बच्चों का पालन पोषण करते हैं। उनको तो जीरो इंटरेस्ट पे, जीरो ब्याज पे पैसा नहीं मिलता है, उनके पास तो लाखों करोड़ों रुपए नहीं है, तो अपने छोटे पूंजी से वो अपना व्यापार करते हैं। उनको ठेस पहुंचे और कानून बताता है कि ठेस ना पहुंचे उसके लिए क्या मापदंड है, तो मापदंड के दायरे में निवेश आए।
Okay, Madhava Narayanan, did that sound like a clarification or a reiteration of what he was already saying?
Well, I must say it sounded to me like a shoddy apology. I mean, honestly, the context in which when Jeff Bezos comes into the country to promote Amazon and $1 billion of investment for small and medium businesses, where was the need for the minister to say things that sounded suspicious? So are we trading a red carpet for a saffron carpet is a big question. Now he's made his post his clarification today, but I must say again it reeks of a certain state of confusion. Amazon is not competing against small businesses, it is onboarding small businesses. Amazon is competing against a giant called Reliance as JioMart has been launched. It has got a, the Future Group might be its partner at some level. We are talking about marketplaces competing with marketplaces. The basic college economics teaches me that competition is not just for goods and services, it is also for what we call factor markets that includes labor and capital. So there is fintech coming in, there is all sorts of possibilities. It needs creative regulation, and that is for the Competition Commission of India or maybe the courts to look at. The government as a policy maker who was only 4 years ago patting itself on the back for raising India's ease of doing business rankings shouldn't be saying things that reek of an attitude that is negative. And more important, in the context of Jeff Bezos being the parallel owner of Washington Post, some of the statements being made by BJP are against the Post. People are, it's a perception game. People are bound to assume something less than excellent about the government. So one of it is an image management game. The other is also that people should know that institutions exist to maintain level playing field. So you have the Competition Commission of India, you have investigators.
I must counter you, and I'm sure Ashwini Mahajan does. You made a comment on saffron carpet. I must counter you with the fact that India has traditionally not been a great place for global businesses. Let me take you back to 2012 when telecom companies, global telecom companies were beating a hasty retreat from here. No matter what the color the carpet is, it seems to be full of thorns.
I
completely agree
fail
with
to understand what you are asking.
Yeah, no, 1 minute. That was a counter for Madhava Narayanan. What do you want to know, Mr. Mahajan? Yes.
Yeah, I simply fail to understand what you are saying. If somebody is evading taxes and some effort is being made to collect the right tax, then you can always say you are changing the rules. Again, we have made the rules, and let me tell you here. Let me tell you that these rules have never been changed. In 2016, Press Note 3 came, they circumvented the rules. In 2018, we again reiterated the same rules, but again they started circumventing. And now on your channel, if you are saying that if these people are coming with some big money, then they should be allowed to circumvent the rules. This is no way to
they should be allowed. 1 minute, Mr. Mahajan. No one on this panel has said that anyone should circumvent rules. 1 minute, sir. You are making an incorrect claim. No one has said we should circumvent rules. That's not the point at all. Who is saying that Amazon should circumvent rules?
No.
But before they are proven to have circumvented rules, should we be putting out this message. Let me get R. Sriram into this conversation. Sriram, you've been listening fairly quietly. What is your input? And remember, I'm taking this into a broader perspective. We're going beyond Amazon. We're seeing what's happened with Vodafone yesterday. We're seeing what has happened with litigation, changing governments, changing rules, tax policies, and sometimes tax policies which are like landmines. Companies don't know they're coming.
I think, Tamanna, what we are trying to do as a government and what we are trying to do as a country is trying to solve a particular problem in a very, the solution is just not the right one to solve this problem. I understand where the government is coming from. They want to make it easier for small businesses to flourish. They want to make it easier for traders and small businessmen to do well and to provide employment. And since they are really the informal economy, so to say, and they are a key piece of the backbone of the economy in the sense that they do provide employment, and they are small and they contribute a big way to local turnover, exports and all that stuff. But I think it is completely wrong to try and attack Amazon or Flipkart or Walmart for this. They are not the ones who are harming the small businessmen. The small businessmen and the small businesses are getting harmed by the fact that there is not proper credit flow to that sector. The ease of doing business is not very high. Many of these businessmen find it very difficult to open establishments or get approvals or get processes done. It's very, very difficult for them to do it. Banks are not willing to lend to them. The NBFCs, who were actually big lenders to some of these guys, have now tightened their purse strings. So credit is not flowing. Approvals are not coming through. It's difficult to do business in such an environment where there is a fair bit of corruption. I'm not talking about the corruption at the central level, obviously, that's a very different picture, but corruption at the local, municipal, district, ground level, where there is many businessmen, especially if you're not a big name, if you're not a big brand, and if you don't know the correct people, you are getting harassed and you are getting exploited. So these are the issues that I think one should address. Amazon is not the problem here. Walmart is not the problem here. Amazon has put in a lot of money into Indian businessmen and into India, and Indian businessmen have benefited from Amazon, have benefited from Walmart. But the big picture and the big issue that we are not addressing is that the entry of Amazon and Flipkart, and therefore thereafter Walmart and guys like Snapdeal and Paytm and all that, is that it has benefited Indian consumers hugely, in a huge way. They are getting things cheaper, they are getting things faster, they are able to do things, they are making a full, the productivity has improved, because right now you don't have to go down to a mall or a shop nearby and do whatever you want. You can do it, you can compare prices on your smartphone, you can get the best deal for yourself. All that is helping consumers.
Yeah. No, interesting points. A lot of comments coming in. And please, everyone, keep your comments short so we get more views in. Ajay Dua wanted to come in. And quickly, please. I request everyone to make quick, pithy comments to the point. Yes, Mr. Dua.
Yes. Tamanna, you talked about the telecom business, Vodafone and the like, who also been impacted by the decision of the Supreme Court. The fact of the matter remains that all of them, when they were allotted spectrum 14 years ago or 15 years ago, that's before the 2012 amendments, they were required to have a revenue sharing arrangement with the government. They had gone and questioned what really constitutes their aggregate or adjusted revenue, as it's being called. If the court has now ruled against them, they should have been provisioning for this all the while as a contingency provision, making a contingency provision liability, that in case the court judgment goes against them, they would be required to pay up. That is all that's happened. I don't think the rules of the game in the case of telecom have been changed mid-course.
Mr. Dua, okay, on telecom, if I keep the Supreme Court case and Vodafone's plight aside, Mr. Dua, let me counter, please, sir. The fact that companies like Etisalat, Telenor, all had to beat a hasty retreat because licenses were distributed by a particular government in a specific way. The CAG said that there was a problem with it. Those licenses were suspended. Right. Another regime has come.
Sure.
What have those companies done? What have those companies done? So I'm talking about whether it's
I
actually
think,
easy to do business in this
Tamanna,
country.
I'd like to just
Yeah.
Sure.
Corruption.
No, Tamanna, I think let's be very clear. We need to, you named a certain few companies, including Telenor, etc.
Yeah.
It was established malfeasance
Yes.
on behalf of their Indian partners. How they had obtained
Yes.
the spectrum, the spectrum which was being cheaply offered.
Yeah.
So I don't think their folding up shop in India was without reason.
Okay.
They were clearly found
Yes.
having short-circuited the Indian legal
No,
system.
again,
in getting allotted.
underlying
Ministers may have been
caveat. No one is
responsible,
saying
officials may have been
flout the rule.
responsible.
Agreed. No one is saying flout the rule. No one is saying indulge in corruption.
Yes.
No one is saying
This is
bend
exactly
the rules.
what happened
but
in the
why
case
does
of
it happen
telecom.
again and again over here? Why is there A, the scope of corruption, B, in
So
in
the
previous
question is,
regimes,
if the-
a requirement to pay a price to do business here, then to get caught out and then have to exit. I'm talking about the environment and
No,
ability
exactly,
to do
see,
business.
if
One
the-
minute,
No,
Madhavan
no.
Narayanan, I'm keeping this moving. Yes, Madhavan.
Sure.
Yeah, I want to be a bit focused because we can go all over the place on all aspects. Let's focus a bit on e-commerce.
Yeah.
The fact is that marketplaces like Amazon compete for small businesses, not with small businesses, and there are ways to do regulatory checks to keep that out. Now, we need companies like, just as Ola and Uber compete to keep cab drivers on their respective boards, we want small businesses being wooed by rivals like Reliance and Amazon. In this, the use of deep pockets need not be seen necessarily as predatory pricing, because this is like a work in progress when you build a marketplace. However, if there are arm's length issues where, let's say, a joint venture of Amazon tries to get into multi-brand retail,
Right.
or when its own brands are unfairly positioned over small businesses, there are technologies as well as regulatory principles possible to monitor this. You need not make sweeping statements that are misleading to the public, especially in a context where we need giants to compete with giants and small businesses to compete with small businesses. We are getting sizes all mixed up when the minister talks about small businesses as if they are the victims. For all you know, Amazon may be giving opportunities to technology employees,
I want
small
Mr.
businesses,
Mahajan, I have
and
the
the
last
like.
4-5
We need
minutes
to
left. I
measure
want
the
Mr.
details
Mahajan to
here.
respond
No,
to
why
what
are we
Sriram
trying
said.
to misread the minister's statement?
I mean, I'm saying let's move on from the
Tamanna,
minister's statement.
I like to clarify
let's move on
this,
from the
that
minister's
I-
statement. I want to come, because
Yes.
really, none of us can know what he actually meant. We have two statements, we played it out. I think let's move on from the minister's statement. I want Mr. Mahajan to come in on a point that Sriram made, which I thought was extremely relevant, which is, what is the real problem that small businesses face? You are finding a bogeyman in part in players like Amazon and Flipkart. What is the hassle they really face to do their business? Why can't the next Amazon come out of here? Why are Indian business often bonsaied? It is because of regulations that need to change.
I have been maintaining this for long, that they are not only killing the small shopkeepers, but also the lakhs of aspiring new e-commerce players. You are asking why Indian Amazon cannot come. How can Indian Amazon come when you need so much of money to compete with them?
Yeah.
Because they have already made 50,000 crores of rupees of losses, and therefore it is not just this Amazon and Walmart, Flipkart, they are not only killing our small shopkeepers, they are even coming in way of our small e-commerce players.
Flipkart started as an
Second
Indian
thing,
player.
you
Flipkart
say this is
started
a
as
new
an
thing which
Indian
has
player.
come up.
Okay, one minute. I want Sriram to
Let
come.
me tell you.
Yeah.
No, but again FDI came, na? Again FDI came.
So you have a problem with FDI.
What has been the
Mr. Mahajan, you essentially
game.
have an issue with FDI. You have an issue with FDI. And
No,
you have-
FDI because you are not understanding that. Again you are trying to misread that. Let me tell you, this is not FDI which is the problem. FDI for cash burning is the problem. FDI comes and if it builds assets, it's fine.
I have
But if
literally
FDI
1
comes and
minute
it
left,
burns
Sriram. I want you
cash,
to close this
that
debate.
is the problem.
1
That
minute,
kills
Sriram.
employment.
I want to close this debate. I want you to close this debate with a basic question. We want global businesses to come in. Obviously, we want to also protect our industry, and we want to make sure that when they come in, to make the most of our massive market, there's something in it for us as well. Fair enough. But can we make it easier and easier than we claim we make it? Sriram, that question's for you. Yes, I'm giving you the last 1 minute.
Yeah, so I think a lot of things can be done to make things easier for global businesses, including whether you are in the manufacturing sector or whether you are in the services sector. And I think we have just probably not even touched the surface of it. There's a lot of things that we can do. Look at what's really happening in China. I mean, what is the red carpet that we are rolling out for all these guys who want to leave China? Google Pixel plan can go into Southeast Asia. Why can't it come into India? A lot of the supply chain, but I must admit and I must state one fact here, that we have done a lot of work in getting the big phone makers to come in and set up shop here. Now Apple is making phones out of India and exporting it to all over the world. So is Samsung. So a lot of other guys are actually coming in and doing it, and they're not only doing it for the domestic market but also for the export market. Like that, if we can create conditions, if we can have a policy, and a lot of this has happened because of what the government tried to do in 2014-15. They had an electronics policy which tried to get the electronics makers to come into India. If you can try and do that for other sectors, and I think it will be hugely beneficial.
No, absolutely. And another
It'll
point.
be hugely beneficial.
Another point.
A lot of guys, look, there are certain, if you look at the FDI, if you look at the, yeah, sure.
I need to wrap, but I'm just saying that's a good point. Just want to wrap with this thought that any government gets policies. If it's working, it should not be overturned just because the political winds have changed. Not in states, not in centers. No one can plan a 20, 30-year investment with that kind of risk hanging over their head. I'm going to end this debate with that thought. Thank you so much to all of our panelists for joining us in the big debate.